We are live. This is the market update. Everyone sells it in a hole, right? So the market goes everybody in, everybody out, everyone back in again. Why is that happening? And what should you do next? I can answer all these questions, include discussing what our GAN model from Patreon Platinum is telling us and how members are printing, buying the low either yesterday or early this morning, only to see the market turn around and realize we are in a new world. We are in a new world where gold goes up and gold gets all the headlines, and there's all kinds of volatility in the currency market, and everyone gets worried, only to soon understand that the only way out of all of these problems, A, is crypto, and B, when people realize that, crypto will go straight up. How many warning signals do you need? Zcash, privacy, trading like Bitcoin of old, up 40% after correction. You had one dip, 2 days, boom. That's warning sign number one. Warning sign number two is that you got a full-on alt season going on Binance Chain. So in a bull market, what goes up? What nobody owns, what nobody likes, and what nobody knows how to buy. Binance Chain qualifies, Pancakeswap may qualify, and the meme coins or whatever is flying over there also qualifies. I mean, literally, Eagle King sent me, they have a Pump.fun imitation, or not imitation. They have a Pump.fun now for Binance Coin or for the Binance chain. Again, classic bull market, classic repeat of what happened with Solana in 2023. You have a double repeat. You have Binance chain with alt season, and you have a revaluation of a big cap. That is Zcash. The name of the service is Four.meme, after apparently CZ using the 4 signal to indicate God knows what, and no one cares because you got a full-on alt season going on. Millionaires are being made. Meanwhile, we're all sitting around in crypto wondering why it's not going up. We're impatient. We're upset. That was yesterday, right? Market goes down. They flush everybody out, and you can see these market makers at work. But don't worry, I'm going to get everybody straightened out. I've already got all of our members straightened out, right? Zcash, okay? Altcoins versus Bitcoin. Those charts are available in the latest 6th Street Crypto podcast. Did you know that every big altcoin is not only about to go up, but it's about to put in a major bottom versus Bitcoin? Now, naturally, the Spartans from Patreon knew that 2 days ago, and we're standing down there waiting to take all this stuff from these ninnies who were selling. The alt season on Binance Chain or Pancakeswap is the preview to an across-the-board rally in altcoins. Now, let's take a brief moment to discuss relative valuation. Right? Like, why should crypto go up? Why is crypto cheap? Explain it to me. Okay. Nvidia, Apple, and Microsoft are 20% of the S&P. So pretend the S&P is like the U.S. stock market. Three stocks account for 20% of the stock index. And that's not even, Nvidia, Apple, and Microsoft. Three stocks, 20%. So if you could have 3 stocks that are that big, what happens to Bitcoin? Oh my God, what happens to Ethereum? XRP is like 10% below where it should be according to the GAN model. I'm sitting around waiting for the catch-up rally in XRP. This morning, CoinDesk, we talked about earlier, retail turns bearish on XRP. Another headline from this morning. crypto is now dominated solely by institutions. Institutions set the tone. Retail is out. Oh, okay. Well, tell that to whatever's going on over there in Binance world, huh? You have no idea what is going to happen when retail comes in and starts to hit the green button all at the same time, particularly when it's people who own stocks, right? I mean, it doesn't take much for them to rotate out and just take some of the profits. You can do that on Charles Schwab in 5 minutes for free. Oh, yeah, let's get a little Bitcoin ETF. Oh, let's get a little Ethereum ETF. And now they're proliferating ETFs, right? I don't know. There's something like 30 applications are in, right? They're going to just flood the market. You're going to be able to buy probably the top 20, right? Which includes Trump coin, right? Orange Man coin going into an ETF. Okay. And the market hasn't even gone up yet. Can you imagine what this looks like when the whole market goes Pancakeswap? And of course, like I said, it was easy to blow me off. Right? It was easy to blow this off, right? The market goes up and then it goes straight back down. And we've been dealing with this for, 10 months until Zcash corrected for 2 days, right to levels from, drum roll, the Zcash deep dive and the Zcash price prediction, which is everywhere right here, right? We had exactly the levels. We got the low. We got the low of the correction. Boom. Up 40% in 1 day. What does that tell you? What happens when the rest of the market starts acting like Zcash? Volatility is contagious. It's contagious. And then it's like, oh, retail's out. Oh, XRP is bearish. You got to be kidding me. Never, no way in my lifetime am I buying into any of this. And the news about altcoins continues to roll out. Avalanche does a tokenization deal, right? Hedera breaks out. Solana's Jupiter developing a stable coin. This goes on and on and on. Did you know 77 people who hold Bitcoin have never done anything in DeFi with their Bitcoin? They haven't touched it. They haven't tried to get interest on it. They haven't moved it around. Ethereum is about to do some sort of upgrade that makes the network better. And what's it up today? What? It's 2%. Nothing is happening in crypto. Like they dropped it yesterday and they brought it back. Ho hum, right? Binance Chain and Zcash are smoking, and everyone's just like, oh yeah, a flock of them flew over that time. Meanwhile, back in macro world, the positive catalysts, they just keep piling up. Like seasonal hiring for the holidays, not happening. Worst since 2009. The job market may never come back. I mean, they're going to sit around at the Fed and eventually their models will show it may never come back. It may never come back. I mean, if you look at what jobs have done, you look at jobs since ChatGPT came out 3 years ago, it's done nothing but go down, while the S&P has done nothing but go up. I mean, it's absolutely crazy banana pants. Okay. Here it is. Here's CZ. So here's the new Michael Saylor at work. We'll try to keep 2023 simple. Education, compliance, product service, ignore FUD. In the future, I would appreciate it if you can link to this post when I tweet 4. That has now been turned into a meme coin launch platform. And you're going to tell me it's not alt season. You're going to tell me that the biggest bull market anyone has ever seen is not about to get started. Back to macro. You will have a payroll number at some point where the Fed will have to cut as that payroll number comes out. Or they're going to have to start doing 50 basis points as a time, as they realize, as Toby Ward has told you multiple times in every way possible, that we are in an era of decoupling, right? Gross domestic product, construction. Okay, so what? So they build a giant data center that employs what? 500 people? Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of jobs are not being created relative to what you've seen in the past. So yeah, you're going to build stuff and everyone's going to buy materials. Okay, yeah, great. And stonks are going to go up. Yeah, okay, great. But what about everybody else? Right? Stimulus checks, helicopter money, lower rates. The orange man is trying to sell student loan debt. So a way to think about this student loan debt is if you owe the government $1 in student loans and they sell that debt to some venture capital firm for 10 cents on the dollar, so you may only owe from that point forward 25 cents on the dollar, right? The venture capitalist would double its money in that case. It's basically a way of writing off the debt without canceling it. You don't cancel it, you sell it. And everyone's like, oh, they're going to sell student loan debt. Yeah, for 10 cents on the dollar. So, the venture capitalist who buys the debt can double his money with people having a 75% reduction in debt potentially. In other words, they're admitting that, this economy has got the boot on the proverbial, throat of huge chunks of the population. And this has to bring in lower rates. It has to. Or it has to just tank the dollar, which is happening because, the way the dollar is moving, because no one wants to buy the yen or the euro, right? The foreign exchange market is kind of broken, right? Everyone wants to dump the yen and the euro, but no one wants to buy the dollar. So what do? Well, you buy gold, you buy stonks, and then you do what? I don't know, man. It's got to be Ethereum. It's got to be XRP. It starts with Binance Chain. It starts with the lower quality stuff. It's like I'm sitting on a volcano live twice a day. YouTube member live stream, by the way, tomorrow morning, where we are just going to, again, rock everything that you can rock. I mean, YouTube itself wants content to such a degree for AI. AI in some ways is so hot that every day they're rolling out new features, making it easier for us to not only make content, but monetize the content. You got to ask yourself, right? Is now not the time to listen to Toby Ward, who's never been wrong about anything? 1. 2, what happens when this hot AI trade, right? I'm serious. This AI trade, this search for data and computing power is hot. Make no mistake about it. It can be a bubble in the stock market or whatever. You can, go to some cocktail party with your legacy buddies and argue about that. But the search for data, that it's just hot. Computing power, the grass, D-pin for normies available on Coinbase, I believe, just raised money. What happens when that trade, goes to crypto? Okay, well, there's a very simple answer to it. Just look at the Zcash price action. Oh, let's go from 40 to 180, and then let's drop it to 120 and get everybody out, and then take it up 40% in one day. There's no seller in Zcash. There's no seller, right? All these giant hedge funds have to own it now, and there's no one there. It's like, oh, yeah, I wish I could have gotten in on Bitcoin in 2013. Well, guess what, bro? Guess what? Zcash trades at 180, and what happens if Zcash goes to 300, 1,000? I think the first print when it came out was 3,000. And hey, why don't we have ETH and Zcash at 10,000? What? You telling me this can't happen? Bitcoin went from 2,000 to 20,000. It did a 10x in 2017. The privacy trade has been completely ignored. Antivirus still has a 3 million market cap. Some dummy sold it below 3 million 2 days ago. Of course, it came right back. It came right back. So, I mean, it's like I'm trying to paint this picture of multiple narratives, right? You have issues with the yen. You have helicopter money over there, possible stimulus checks. If you have a Trump coin ETF, you're going to have stimulus checks. That was the first thing I thought of this morning. And, the headlines are like, yeah, well, we've made 70,000 crypto millionaires over the last year in Bitcoin. And you're going to be like, wow, well, that's kind of depressing. What we actually need crypto for is to save people who now have to live in their cars and in trailers. These stimulus checks, I mean, people may be, they may pay off debt. They may have a month's rent in the bank, or they're just going to come in and buy crypto and start to create a wealth effect. The strategic Bitcoin reserve could be done with with $2,000 worth of Bitcoin for every American who needs it. Give them some money and create a wealth effect. Get their student loan debt down legally, right? By just selling it to a venture capital group for 10 cents on the dollar. Why are they doing this? Because it's absolutely necessary. Meanwhile, the government shutdown continues, and 50% of certain government agencies that collect money are just getting furloughed. It's like, not only is there no job growth, but when these people from Uncle Sugarland get laid off, there's nowhere for them to go. And this is to pressure Powell on purpose. I guarantee you will see a Wall Street Journal editorial. Some legacy reporter will figure out, like, wow, is this government shutdown really about pressuring Powell to lower rates? We'll open this up when Powell calls up and goes, okay, I'll do 50. Stop, uncle. I give up. Think the orange man's not, you think he's playing around? Oh, he's definitely not playing around. He is definitely not playing around. Another chart I really like is Ethereum versus its purple versus small cap U.S. equities. Okay, so certain sectors of the economy are not really doing that great because it's all about AI. But let me ask you something. What happens if you put checks in people's hands and they turn around and stick it in Charles Schwab? Or what happens to small cap equities if the Fed comes in and says, we got to cut 200 basis points over the next 9 months or 12 months. We got to cut 25 or 50 at every meeting until further notice. I can tell you right now what's going to happen. Small cap stocks and ETH will smoke higher. The second the dollar stops going up because of this yen problem, ETH is going to be gone. I still think that, Toby has said it, it's suppressed. It's an explosion going someplace to happen. Again, everyone's talking about, I know the Binance alt season is what crypto YouTube is talking about. But, you could have the same type of alt season on multiple chains. And I think XRP is next. Somebody came on one of the shows and said, can you take a look at all the XRP meme coins? Like nothing was happening there. Nothing. And I think I'm going to get to Ski Mask in a minute, right? Because this is relevant to Ski Mask. Trade the top emerging tokens. Unlock millions of assets on Coinbase. Okay. Get access to the most popular trending tokens. Decentralized exchange now seamlessly integrated on the Coinbase app, allowing you to trade DEX coins right from Coinbase. This changes everything in the Base universe. They may issue their own token, okay? But in the meantime, anything on Base that can be immediately pulled up to Coinbase, I don't know, it can just moon indiscriminately, right? They have a lot of coins available on Coinbase, but, if something hot comes out or, if it has marketing, Coinbase normies are going to jump on anything that moves. They're going to jump on anything that moves. And just in case you think you've missed it, the Ski Mask looks like XRP Army. It looks like everything else. There are whole sections of this market that have done absolutely nothing. Nothing. Zero. Right? The Gann model in one of the lists that we did pulled out Doge. Doge up 5% today. It would be a classic normie meme, right? something that people might just go, okay, well, I'll get involved in that. What has this done? Nothing. Like, you keep trying to draw bottoming signals on this. And I'm just trying to make a point, right? Everyone's like, oh, well, crypto is only for institutions. Okay, well, yeah, institutions are definitely involved in crypto. I get it. But nobody's asking themselves what happens if normies come in mass. Nobody. If anything, all the normies in crypto, cup and handle, right? All of the crypto normies yesterday were bearish. I had to do a couple streams to pull everybody off the ledge because they dropped it in everyone's face again. And the more times they do that, the more times they do it, the higher it's going to go. Now, let's talk about gold. We have to talk about gold. I have the charts. I have it with silver. The term blow off top comes from commodities TA. And I think you are clearly looking at some sort of blow off top in gold. Now, how long does that last? I don't know. Does that make gold go from 4,000 to 5,000? You know, what's thing you have to remember about gold and crypto that no one is talking about, that, you know, I used to work with a group and I'm still in contact with them about a very exciting real world asset project. Wink, wink. We used to talk all the time about what happens when the day comes when, you know, everyone looks at paper gold and says, I want my gold, and it's not there. I mean, people haven't invested in paper gold. The gold ETF is dead with gold smoking higher. I mean, I can't even imagine what happens if the people in stonks start allocating money over to gold and Bitcoin. I mean, that's like inconceivable. Like, gold would go to 10,000 if that's what happened. If you put $20 billion into the gold ETF, I mean, it's unimaginable. But the other thing about gold that people are not realizing is what happens if there's a problem between, you know, the paper receipts people have for gold, futures contracts, and the amount of gold and silver actually deliverable. Now, if there's a default, whose problem is it? The banks. The banks are in the middle. They're called clearing banks, right? They basically guarantee that everybody who says they're going to get gold will get it. Well, if there's no gold to give them, what are they going to do? Right? Remember long Bitcoin, short the banks? Dude, I mean, the implications for gold, for crypto, is so profound. And again, these catalysts are so epic. And in true market fashion, not just crypto, but in true market fashion, when you know something is going to happen, or when you just line up the catalysts, it's just stark raving unbelievable that no one gets it. And when people do get it, they'll get it all at once. And it could be something silly like Zcash. And that could be it. That could be it. Zcash could go right to 300 and everyone goes, wow, holy cow, look at this. And then everyone goes, okay, yeah, now I get it. I mean, it was the reverse in 2008. 2008, some little dinky Asian investment bank wrote down all their mortgage-backed securities to go to zero, and all the macro heads knew what that meant. That meant that was the first shoe to drop. Zcash, Binance Coin, it's the other way around. It's a reverse crash or a melt up going someplace to happen. It is. Like CoinDesk today is like Bitcoin whales in profit. Everyone in profit in Bitcoin. You know, profit taking imminent. You know, are they going to sell? Everyone's talking about stopping out, selling, shorting, hedging, frustration. Stop selling Bitcoin. There's another one here that goes Bitcoin to 140 by the end of the month. Gee, you think? What happened to the 200 targets? Everyone dropped it. Everyone has dropped the most bullish scenario at the exact moment where I don't know. I mean, if it gets any more bullish, you know, guys like me are just going to kind of explode, right? It's absolutely. I mean, you know, you can get perps inside MetaMask. Antivirus created a DEX for perps. Like, how long do you think it's going to take for people to figure out with Binance Coin moving and Zcash moving that they can get on on Ethereum, and again, this is clearly not investment advice, and I don't recommend this or do this regularly. But I mean, how many more times is ETH going to go down between now and the next 4 to 5 days? How many times? Once, maybe? I mean, if you were going to do this whole like call option thing in the ETFs, or like try to do something where you get a modest dip and you try leverage with a stop, like this is when you do it. You don't get 10x levered after it's gone up 30%. You buy it when it's down and all the leading indicators are flying and everyone is sitting around going, oh, wow. Zcash, flock of them flew over that time. They're not understanding what's going on here. They're not at all. Meanwhile, again, over there in Patreon, you may be like, you may be noticing I'm doing something called pounding the table. So this is the 6th Street Crypto Podcast area. This is $25. Alts Fight Back, Zcash World, Let's Go, Head Games, Correction, Mind Games, Don't Fall for the Trick, Platinum area, okay? The October Roadmap, giving you the highs and the lows 2 months in a row, 2 months in a row. That's worth the price of all of it. Zcash Deep Dive, I gave you the low in that piece. That is also from the Gann model. Insane XRP price prediction. No one understands what that means. I mean, if Zcash is going to 1,000, Toby actually likes XRP more than Zcash. So do the math on that. That's over here. And I've got all of the Solana small caps all queued up, ready to go for when we light up Solana, which is frankly inevitable, especially if you look at, say, Solana versus Bitcoin or just about anything versus Bitcoin. Because when gold and silver top out, I don't know whether that's gold at 5,000 or whatever it is, that might not be until next week. Right now, gold on a weekly chart, you got this week and you maybe got next week. And then at some point, that bid is going to move from gold over into Bitcoin. Even if gold doesn't go down, which, I don't even know why it would. But at some point, people are going to be like, oh my God, we have to buy crypto. Because the signs are clearly there. Okay. I mean, if you look at what the people in the United States need and the amount of help that's going to be required, dude, they are going to need to cut rates with reckless abandon. Let's go to TA. Again, Patreon members getting TA early. Getting it early. You notice Bitcoin on a 4-hour chart, right? A lot of room to go to the premium zone, back up at 126. You look at the daily chart on Bitcoin. Okay, this is our Gann chart. Okay, on one hand, you've got the premium zone from LuxAlgo at 126. So that could create resistance, which creates alt season, right? Bitcoin doesn't move, and altcoins just go and go and go and go. Resistance in Bitcoin? Wonderful. Let's ramp everything else. Again, XRP 10% below where it's supposed to be in the Gann model. And if you want to get wild in Bitcoin, like, what's the year-end target for Bitcoin? If it just follows this model, if it just follows the Gann line, it's 150. And to me, that seems kind of boring. And this idea that you could be at 140 at the end of October, yeah, you could. You could be at 146. If you have Bitcoin at 146, where's Ethereum going to be? I mean, Ethereum, even though it is near its, its premium zone, which, frankly, I care less about that more and more every day. ETH is about to break out of one of these like alligator mouth formations, which I've only really seen from LuxAlgo. ETH has tried to break through 4,800 multiple times. And when it does, it's just going to go crazy. And speaking of things that no one owns, Monero. Here's this gigantic alligator mouth formation. You break out, you return, and then you go. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. I mean, Zcash is bumping up against its premium zone. We'll see if anyone cares. On Zcash, on a 4-hour chart, they're putting support underneath the market at 174. And I will tell you something about Zcash. Like, I bought the dip a little bit too early, but I'm not upset about that now. Now this becomes very difficult because now it's a momentum trade the way Bitcoin was in 2017. 2017 is here. It just doesn't look like what you thought it was going to look like. Right? Now, this is the wild card for crypto. This is the dollar versus the yen. So when the yen gets weaker, the dollar goes up. Okay. They have obviously a lot of room. Right now it's at 152 and it can go to 158. And you know what? If that happened, first of all, I can't believe central banks will let it get disorderly. But if that ever happened, that would be the golden age of crypto. Because then you would basically have a fiat crisis. And as I could allude to, it doesn't get any better than that for crypto. Like, for example, if you look at ETH on a 4-hour chart, right? So this is the DeMark Elliott wave. Okay, I will actually take this off temporarily. So this red one, that's wave 1 up. This is wave 2 down. Big trends have 5 waves. There's the first wave up, second wave down, just like this. Third wave, much bigger than the first wave, much bigger. So the first wave in ETH was 3,800 to 4,800. Now you're going to embark on wave 3, which starts gradually and then moves suddenly. That's how big it could be in ETH. And I don't think anybody is, no one is understanding this at all. It's the same thing in Bitcoin. 108, 126, wave 1. Down, little bitty, oh my God, wave 2. Wave 3, gradually, then suddenly. My guess is the next 4 or 5 days, you have gradually or sideways maybe, either one. And then it just goes boom, boom. I mean, right now in XRP on a tactical basis, this is your dip. That is your dip in XRP. Okay, when we start looking at precious metals, right, this is silver on a weekly chart, possibly 2 more weeks left. And I got to be honest, on a daily chart, there is no sign of a top here on silver. None. Now, gold does look a little bit ridiculous on a daily chart. This is GLD. You know, this looks very emotional, right? Because every night in Asia, they're buying gold. I'm not in the mood to get in front of it. Now, other charts, which again, Patreon had 2 days ago, to stand down there at the low and buy everything. Look at this. Solana versus Bitcoin. Solana versus Bitcoin. What do you got? What do we got? We got a 13 bottom and we got a 9 bottom. This is a 4-hour chart. This is Solana now outperforming Bitcoin. How much outperformance can there be? Right? What, like, if Solana outperformed Bitcoin, like how long could it last? I don't know. It took like 2 weeks for Solana to underperform Bitcoin. So when Solana turns around and outperforms Bitcoin, how high exactly can it go? Delivered in a 7-minute podcast. Please join us and check it out early. ETH versus Bitcoin. Here comes the kicker, right? ETH versus Bitcoin on a daily chart. is at this huge inflection point. Okay. So this was where the 2025 ETH collapse started from, both outright and versus Bitcoin right here. It's like we're sitting on that. So there's this big level. And lo and behold, what do you have in ETH versus Bitcoin? On the daily chart, you have a 13 bottom. Holy cow. Do you have any idea what happens if ETH versus Bitcoin takes out this very special level? Because this has been brutal, right? Like it was like ETH underperformed. Then it looks like ETH's coming back. It's coming back. No. It's coming back. No. Okay. When that thing goes through that little thin blue line, watch out. Watch out. Because when the market's afraid of resistance, the moment it's not afraid of resistance, gone. XRP versus Bitcoin. You have a 9 bottom, and then tomorrow morning on a daily chart, you'll probably have the 13 bottom as well. That's on a daily chart of XRP versus Bitcoin. I mean, these are like major high time frame bottoms. I was listening to Sam Price the other day, and he's like, the big money is made on high time frame, right? High time frame signals. So you got a daily charts in all of these altcoins versus Bitcoin, which is how you used to chart it. Oh, back in 2017, when things like Zcash moved like, when Bitcoin moved like Zcash, and you had, the ICO season, like you have pancake swap season. You want an XRP price prediction? There's your XRP price prediction on a daily chart. I mean, this XRP underperformance versus Bitcoin, I mean, this is a give up trade. This is why retail is bearish XRP, because everything is going up and XRP is going down or doing nothing. And people are just giving up because on a relative performance basis, it looks horrendous. Right up until a point where it puts in a massive DeMark bottom, when everyone is sleeping, when everyone's looking over in Binance chain, understandable, I get it, okay? But the explosion in XRP, just to have this underperformance unwind alone. Like if Bitcoin stalls at 126, I mean, you could have XRP go parabolic, right? Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin is holding support on a 4-hour chart. It doesn't have the compelling DeMark work, but, there is a lot of support. And again, when you look at Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin, okay, Bitcoin Cash dramatically outperformed, does like a 50% retracement. And if you look at the D wave, right, it's A, B, C. Done. And who knows, maybe it takes 4 more days. Maybe you get yourself a 9 bottom down here. But the correction in all of these altcoins versus Bitcoin is over. And, for Zcash, right? The Zcash roadmap in Patreon and YouTube member area. 13 top, 4-hour chart. Suggest buying the dip. This is versus Bitcoin, but we want to buy the dip. 145 and then 120 to 130. Yesterday's low was like 128. Zcash versus Bitcoin puts in a 9 bottom. Boom. Gone. And it's above this like key DeMark level. It's emotional. Could be a 5 wave. Could end. Or it could just keep right on going. Right? Once the bus leaves in this thing, it's not going to stop. I don't know. Maybe it's going to give you the gift of like one more dip, maybe in Bitcoin. I have no idea what rationale is other than this like dollar freakout trade, right? Other than this dollar freakout trade, there is absolutely no reason for any of this stuff to downtick. None. Unless we're going to have this like macro freakout thing again. Or maybe gold tops. Who knows? But I mean, if it's T-minus 2 to 3 days to Zcash, 2 to 3 days to Binance Coin. I guess we should chart Binance Coin since I've been talking about it. I mean, you know, I'm not saying that what's going on Binance Coin should stop. I mean, in Binance Coin, you do have a 13 top and a 9 top and a 5-wave signal after what is a bottom left to top right rally. You have to ask yourself, once they go wild on Pancakeswap, once they get done with that, will the bid switch somewhere else? Will it go to XRP or Solana? Or, hey, how about Base? I mean, do you think that they're sitting around the table at Coinbase headquarters watching what's going on Binance, and they're just sitting around and going, "Oh, wow, that's nice." You know what? They're getting their butts kicked. And this is a publicly traded company now. Okay? So, you know, Coinbase has got to get after it with the Base network. Gemini, which is a stock that's been down but has to do something as well. They're all going to see it's not, markets don't go parabolic because people want to buy it. They go parabolic because people have to buy it. That's institutions. That's retail to create a wealth effect. That's BlackRock, Vanguard, and all these other characters. Why do you think they're making all these altcoin ETFs? Because Wall Street can make money off of it. And I would guess that bigger players would be like, you know, I would do more crypto if I could do it in a diversified fashion. And of course, Wall Street is drooling over this because I can tell you what Wall Street's going to do. First, they'll have the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, right? Then what they'll do is they'll release 10 other ones. And then they'll just put it in one basket and call it crypto. You want to buy crypto? Here's crypto. Here's 10 ETF, altcoins inside of an ETF, or an ETF of ETFs, or a mutual fund that holds ETFs. That's what Wall Street wants. They can't make a mutual fund with 2 ETFs. They need a dozen. I mean, with Apple, Microsoft, and Nvidia accounting for 20% of the S&P, what happens if any part of that money chases, for example, the Hedera ETF? I mean, the Orange Man knows it. These guys have lunch with people at Wall Street. Why do you think there's an Orange Man coin ETF, for God's sakes? They know what's going to happen here. They eat lunch with the big boys. It's probably all coordinated because they got to push it all through the SEC. The Bitcoin ETF happened because BlackRock wanted it. And if the altcoin ETFs proliferate, I'm not totally crazy about, but obviously that's going to bring in organic buying from where? From the stock market, right? Who wants to sit around and debate whether or not AI is a bubble or not? Just take 5% of the money or 10% of the money or 20% of the money and rotate over to altcoins. I mean, they have a lot of choices now. They can buy the Bitcoin treasury companies. They can buy the ETH Solana treasury companies, etc. They can buy the exchanges, the hedge funds, Galaxy Digital. I mean, you know, you could have a nifty 50 in crypto. That is a saying from, like, you know, the Stone Ages. But I mean, crypto could have a nifty 50. S&P has already made an index. So the amount of money that can flow in, combined with the TA, combined with the fact that small caps have done nothing, right? I mean, we continue to publish, you know, top Solana altcoins, top 10 coins for October for our premium members. I mean, folks, it is all there. We've been taking large universes and boiling them down to say a list of 10, and then the Gann model and Toby give you the top 3. Like for Solana, the Gann model had its top 3 and Toby had her top 3. Ironically, Toby's top 3 were from the bottom part of the top 10 that the machine picked. The woman hasn't been wrong about anything, literally ever. I put a free there's a free video. There's a free video out. So here are the member videos, right? Zcash to the moon, right? You're still early. You're still early. 2 days ago. Right? And if you don't believe me, well, why don't you just check it out? The reasons that altcoins have go up, the woman's just dropping the alpha right there. By the way, if anybody wants to know who did the art, I appreciate the question. Yeah, that's all her, by the way. She writes books, she paints, she's psychic, and she's a 2-year trained crypto analyst. Just from whatever research she did and watching the market update by osmosis. The woman's IQ is like 180. It's the best kept secret in all of crypto that is about to not be a secret. So I would recommend getting in early. Early, right? And again, you know, it's not like we don't have content for you, because in all these podcasts we go over, you know, we generate separate Gann model reports. We call it book reports. We pick from banter bubbles, small caps, micro caps. I haven't done that in a while, but undoubtedly that's coming back tomorrow. She wanted to do it when the market was down, when no one wanted to talk about it. Then we also do things where we filter her picks through the Gann model to narrow it down. For $49 a month. $49, we have $25, $49, and $88. For $49, I mean, let me ask you something. For $40, what can you really do with $49? Really? I mean, if you went to Five Guys Burgers and Fries and ordered the deluxe burger, the deluxe fries, drinks, and, you know, some ice cream, that's $49. $49. You're going to miss the greatest rally in financial market history over $49? Please don't do that. And if you got more than $49, well, I don't know. Why don't you try Patreon Platinum? Because that Gann roadmap is money. It'll keep you sane. It'll give you levels where you can buy the dip. I mean, that thing is just so right. I mean, you know, we may wind up becoming our own hedge fund if that thing continues to be as right as it has been. I should have listened yesterday. I mean, I should have been more bearish 2 days ago and been like, hey, hang on, you're going to get to buy a dip. It said you're going to get to buy a dip in Zcash at either 145 or 120. I'm like, well, it's never going down to 120. I'm going to get it at 145. It went to 128. You know, models are only as good as the traders who use it. But still, it's mind-boggling, right? So, you know, why don't you come pay us a visit? Because you got, I'm telling you, maybe you got 3 or 4 days. Maybe. And that may be just in Bitcoin. The XRP catch-up rally and this Binance coin catch-up rally. Oh, my God. Right? Because it's not like we're all sitting around like 2023. Like last year before the election, we were all sitting around. You know, Ben Cohen like almost drove a stake through my heart with altcoins are going to zero. He had this graph. It looked like 2018. He's like, it's over for altcoins. Done. It's over. I was like sitting on a park bench downtown Austin. And I'm like, it's over. It's over. And then I realized that sensation inside myself was the low. And it was. It was the low. And in 2023, it was so boring, I could only do the market update once a week. Eagle King's like, we got to get on the air. And I'm like, get on the air with what? Now I could get on the air and the Eagle King's like falling asleep behind the camera because I'm talking for an hour and a half. This is just on the free stream. Never mind everything else that we're doing. Like we're doing this. We got enough content to go twice a day. We're on in the morning, and I think we're on YouTube Shorts now somewhere. We're on TikTok now in the morning. You know, Eagle King's like screenshotting questions from TikTok, like, hey, I got my parents' fortune. What should I do with it? How much money in retail is sitting out there on the sidelines? Low. You know, and then when you look at this TA, right? Like, you don't even have to look at stunk TA for now, right? You will have to look at stunk TA at some point because eventually this like dollar debasement trade, when it all moves over to crypto, people are going to start looking, you know, they're going to start giving equities like the evil eye. Like, okay, really? 4.5 trillion for one chip company? I mean, I talked about this morning. You know, OpenAI announces they're going to buy $300 billion worth of cloud services from Oracle. Breaking. Oracle invests $300 billion in OpenAI, so they have the money to become Oracle's customer. And this is going on everywhere, right? Nvidia invests in this company. Company buys Nvidia chips. Now, I don't know about I don't know about that. The optics are kind of unusual, right? But yeah, okay. If that was going on in crypto, what would they be saying? You got to allocate money over here. And I know people are frustrated, right? I know I got to say, I got to shout out to, I got to shout out. I can't always see it. I see, I think Philip was the first person on the stream. Welcome, sir. We appreciate that. I can't always see the first person on the stream, but welcome, sir. Guess who? Chicken Boo, the one person hedge fund out of Asia, I believe. The number 2 person on the stream. We welcome you, Bull Runner, a perennial favorite, Rave Song Records, a member, Ratchlet, a member, Colonel T-Bone, Spartan Colonel, been here forever. Welcome, Rave Song Records, Ratchlet talking about Jasmine with the yen carry trade. Dude, Bill, at what point do we take profits? He doesn't want to round trip it. You know, my father used to have a saying. I mean, my father was a stockbroker with a completely empty desk with a telephone. He used to watch the market on like a scrolling ticker tape. Scrolling. No computer. He used to say that when people call me up and say, when should I sell? Buy. And then when people call up and when they say, you know, when they say, when should I sell? Buy. And when they call up and they say, when should I buy? At the top of a market, parentheses, sell. I think you talk about selling. Toby's talking about December. The Gann model has the middle of January as the top, and you want to be exit stage right by March because that's when the stunk problem will show up. That's the freebie for today. Stop talking about selling. Reevaluate your portfolio later. Now, what portfolio you have, we would be delighted to help you with that in the YouTube member area and in Patreon, blah, 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 blah. Right? Cisco looking at Toshi, one of our meme coin favorites, Ave Medina, Miguel, Hal Lopez. You know, we have a guy who gets up in the middle of the night to watch the stream. You know that, right? Driftless Crypto, Patriot Caveman, Jeff Dixon, More Money, Discord Inc. You see Zcash is going up, bro. I definitely see Zcash is going up. My Zcash target is higher than your Zcash target. Not you personally, but in a metaphorical sense, yes. Is S&P going to correct anytime soon? Well, we do have a correction dates for S&P. Check in the YouTube member podcast. Toby will update you at that time. Jeff, dig in the stream. Thank you, King, number 1 fan. Gian is now a colonel. Swiss Seb is now a Spartan colonel, being here for a year. Welcome. Coin Operated, welcome to the show. Now, Toshi. Yeah, absolutely. Right? Meme coins, anyone? The big meme coins? Hey, man. Telling you right now, you ignore this base trade at your own peril. Everyone's always like, arrow. Dude, if they crank this up, and you can tell we've done this Toshi thing before, gigantic upward sloping accumulation cone. Dude, if the meme thing is going on Binance Coin, the meme thing has begun. And we actually in one of the Gann models, we actually have an ignition date for memes in October, which we'll be happy to discuss in the YouTube member podcast tomorrow. So if you want to know when memes are going to take off, perhaps you could join me and Toby tomorrow, because this market is going to pop off, as she says, one bucket at a time. And if you want to know what the next bucket is, well, you know what to do. You know what to do, and you know that you should do it quickly. You should. You should. Because I'm telling you, like, it's like, hey, when should we buy Zcash at 145 or 120? Okay. And then Zcash goes to 180. Then you're gonna be like, when do you buy it? Okay. Well, that becomes a lot more difficult. I mean, it's not saying I can't do it. Chainlink. Okay. So other than the fact that I think Chainlink's going to 100, I really don't have much of an opinion on it. I mean, I think if you start looking at Chainlink on a weekly basis, you just have a gigantic accumulation cone. What's an accumulation cone? You're going to ask me. All right. I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is because this is the one chart market update. Cross-chain, wormhole is a GAN pick. I'll give you that for free. This is an accumulation cone. This is from Jesse Livermore's trading diary from the early 20th century, the first technical analysis textbook. You bounce around in this cone, and then you go absolutely parabolic, right? Bounce, 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 bounce. And then it goes 8, 9, 10. Like too big, it just goes. Right? I don't make these things up. That is actually how it happens. And then you look at Chainlink weekly. And then you do what I call squiggle TA. Squiggle TA, anyone? Squiggle TA is this. 8, 9, 10. Where did the wheel land? I don't know. At 100. Now, how about 90? Or you could do something slightly more scientific and break out with like, I don't know, like Fibonacci extension analysis on Chainlink, right? You can do just the old-fashioned stuff. I don't know. How about a long-term upside target in Chainlink? Like the Chainlink short-term price prediction is 85. The Chainlink long-term price prediction is 190. And then, I don't know, for mid-January, why don't we go 244? And Chainlink currently trades at $22. So that would be a 10x in Chainlink. So if I did a YouTube live stream and I came on and the first thing I said would be, Chainlink is going to 10x by January. Swipe, next stream, next video. No one would listen to that. And of course, that is Fibonacci extension, possibly pie in the sky stuff. Or is it? Zcash goes to 1,000. That's a 10x. Binance Coin has gone up massively. Solana 10x'd back in 2023. Binance Coin, I'm looking at the chart. In March, Binance Coin was at in March at the low during like the tariff tantrum thing, Binance Coin was at 509. It's currently at 1297. So a gigantic market cap coin, 3x'd in 6 months. We're saying that this can't happen anywhere else. It happened in the thing that was lower quality, that no one owned, no one understood, and was hard to buy. And that just proliferates everywhere. ETH 10,000, Altcoin Daily was talking about ETH 10,000 2 days ago. Appreciate those gentlemen helping me with titles and thumbnails. Right. ETH 10,000. I mean, like Tom Lee saying it. Everyone's saying it. Everyone's trashing Michael Saylor. Everyone's trashing Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor, instead of selling Bitcoin, chose to borrow money to pay interest on some of his coins, some of his stocks that he issued to get the capital for Bitcoin. Now, of course, that gets the attention of everyone in legacy that, he's borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. The optics are not good, but he's not selling. He's not selling. And everyone gets all bearish on MicroStrategy. Everyone gets all bearish on crypto. Don't you see, right? These bearish narratives, right? People feed on it. And then when the market starts to climb the wall of worry, and then everybody goes, what are we worried about again? And it's gone. This is why I'm on the chat just like, screaming. Onyx Coin or Turbo? Not opposed to Turbo the Turtle, dude. I'm not. You know why? Because if some kid, the only thing he understands is Turbo the Turtle, I realize this is like philosophical in memes doesn't really, they don't go together necessarily. I don't care. I don't care if they want to get it going on Pancakeswap. I don't care if it gets excessive. Let it get excessive. Let somebody become a millionaire. Somebody become a millionaire, buy a house, hire a gardener. I don't know. You become a millionaire, you create a job. Let's create millionaires. Even if they're in adult entertainment establishments, they got to pay their bills too. I'm serious. This is a wealth effect. I don't know. Turbo the Turtle. All of these things are doing something similar in that they're doing square ranges. I actually kind of like this square range, but obviously no one is interested in this. No one is interested. You probably got a lot of people in Algorand and Hedera that are frustrated. I get it. Everyone's frustrated. And these Algorand and Hedera, Hedera's got Wendy O. I mean, what has Algorand done? Nothing. But you got a 13 and a 9 bottom. It's very interesting on a daily chart, right? This is dramatically underperformed. And I bet if you did Algorand versus Bitcoin, again, just taking a flyer here, right? Yeah. See what I'm saying? It's like completely clean. So Algorand outperforms Bitcoin. That's wave 1. Algorand underperforms Bitcoin. That's a grinding, awful wave 2. Algorand versus Bitcoin, 13 bottom. Algorand radically outperforms. Algorand pukes. Everybody gives up. And then all of a sudden, boom. Algorand starts outperforming Bitcoin. Bitcoin has resistance at 126. Maybe Bitcoin goes to 140. Maybe it goes to 140 later. Maybe altcoins just indiscriminately smoke to the upside. Hedera, again, 13 bottom. This is just Hedera, straight up. Remember this? Remember the American-made cryptos? No, nobody remembers this. And we weren't a fan of this, like, I don't know, a week ago. And then look at this give up trade. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is just everyone packing it in. You have the same thing in XRP. Everyone gave up. Why are you giving up? They karate combat. They got layer 1. They got stuff going on. They got Wendy O. I mean, what? What is everyone doing? Literally, this is the opposite of January. Psychologically, it's the opposite of January. Everyone is like, yep, I'm done, out. I can't take it anymore. Please show me a bullish chart. I need to, there was an E-Trade commercial about somebody who had a bad day trading and they jumped out the window, but it was a first floor window and they jumped into the bushes. That's what everyone in crypto wants to do. They want to jump out the window into the bushes because they're losing their mind. XLM, right? ISO 2222 coins. Like this correction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. Done. And this dip was juicy. I'm telling you, any way you cut this. Onyx Coin for members. By the way, becoming a member gets you priority on comments. So the Eagle King pays particular attention. XCN. Holy cow. Look at this. So you're at the apex of a triangle. So whatever direction it goes in, once it makes a decision at the apex of a triangle, you get a monster move, and it's sitting on its discount zone. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is it takes one rally to get this thing going. One. And King is reminding you that accumulation cone by Jesse Livermore comes from the famous trading textbook. It's not a textbook. It's a novel about Livermore's life, Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. Your homework assignment is to have that read by October 16th. Go get the book and go read it. Read Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, get sun, touch grass, eat your vitamins, eat protein, and get ready, people, because when this thing goes, it is going to go like you can't believe. Near, which, the GAN model likes, everyone likes near. No one's long it, though. Everyone's like, yeah, I like near. Are you long it? No? Okay. The concept of hot layer ones, it's doing nothing. Like I said, everyone's like, oh my God, I'm missing out. Missing out on what? Nothing has happened yet. That's the whole point, which is why I'm red-faced, which is why me and Toby are doing podcasts every 3 days, which is why I can't stop publishing in a Patreon, because I want you in now, right? I'd be happy to help you when it goes up. If you want research after it goes up, it'll be there for you. I will be there, but you got to do it now. And skip Five Guys. Go to Five Guys. You won't, if you skip Five Guys for 3 months, you'll be able to go get steak every week for a year. Think of it that way. Think of it in terms of beef, right? Skip it now so you can go later. Delayed gratification. Coin operated dig in the stream. Swiss Sev wants to look at Bonk. When they get the launch pad going on Binance, they're going to get it going on Solana. That's next. Unless they do tech coins and stable coin, it's on Solana, or DeFi, or liquid staking. The Solana small cap coins in Patreon. Hello. Yeah, look at this Bonk, right? Meme coins in Solana. Nothing happening. And people probably in a rage because it's all going on Binance chain, right? The market is doing okay. There are things that are going up and people are upset anyway. The market goes down, people are upset. The market goes up, people are upset. And they're just going to shake you and make you upset and make you talk to yourself or make you trick you into getting out. Some people are going to get tricked into getting out. Some people may have already puked this. Some people may have puked it yesterday. Don't. Every stream, everything, every video. I'm up at like 3 o'clock in the morning with Toby pictures. Don't be fooled. Don't do it. Don't do it. Right? Pepe. Same deal, right? Pepe is trying to figure out what to do at this particular resistance area. I just can't believe with Pepe, when ETH goes, that this is not going to go too. I'm just saying. Like once that base ignition takes off, once they ignite Coinbase, Audius. Now this is like, things like Audius are an important question, right? You have to ask yourself. Do you love it? Or is this last cycle's remnants? I don't know, but I know that there's absolutely no point in selling it right now because it just can't get any lower. It's like Audius is like sitting, it's like, in some ways, it's like right on top of its discount zone. It rarely pays. I've never seen it really pay to buy something at its premium zone, and I've never seen it pay to sell something at the discount zone, even if it's, maybe it's dead, but, is capital better used elsewhere? I don't know. Ask Toby tomorrow. She's great at this. This is like what she does. Okay. Philip talking about PIN, right? I know that's a top favorite small cap. This whole D-PIN narrative, not discussed, not traded. It's actually down today. Wow. Okay. Well, it's down at its discount zone. You have to ask yourself, you know, some of the things in this market are only up or down 2, 3, 4, 5%. And what happens when it just goes? See a cat meme when up 15%? Okay. So I don't want to torture the Eagle King. We could probably do this for a very long time. I'm going to make a very strong suggestion because YouTube is rolling out features, right? They're rolling out features that's going to change a little bit how we're doing a market update. Okay. So I would become a member and get all this juicy stuff from Toby now, right? Because YouTube is helping us. You can help us by hitting the like button, by subscribing to the channel. Anyone who's out there in YouTube Shorts land, hit the join button if you're watching on your computer. Subscribe to the channel. That helps us. There will eventually be hype buttons on videos. If I release a video and you see the hype button, please feel free to hit it because YouTube is not playing around about helping small creators get bigger. So jump on the train now. We will see you tomorrow.